afternoon, Aurelia and Oma from AMOO Studio. I would like to present you the studio that I think is really interesting to follow up anywhere you can find them. It's a real pleasure to have you here again. I invited them years ago, and I think it's a delight to see their performance over and over because a lot has changed since then. So AMOO Studio was founded in Barcelona in 2014, and since then they carried out different projects in the field of architecture, interior design, and also project design or furniture design, both I would say. The projects are of different scales, and they range from private commissions to office buildings, retail, furniture, or object design, but they are all treated with the same curiosity, with the same rigor throughout the design process that they apply. In fact, there is a mix of different disciplines that you like to have when you develop your projects. They mix with graphics, with products, interiors. This is often very noticed that you have these different disciplines in your projects. And besides their professional work, they also are promoters, directors of a digital archive of Catalan architecture, which is a web platform that catalogs and disseminates the architectural and design heritage of Catalonia, which is quite important because we never had that before, and now it goes on for several years already. Is it a decade? Yes? Okay. At least 6 years. Okay. Well, it's great, and I remember that we had to send something to you. Okay, this is Jordi. So in my opinion, the projects of AMOO are becoming more and more interesting, and for me, they leave a very strong impression. When I look at them, I'm always surprised of what I see, because at first glance, you might have the idea that the use of the shapes and the colors seem a little fun or even ironic, but at a closer look, you understand that there's an underlying, well thought through interrelation of all the elements that actually intertwine along the spaces, which leads to a very complex but very harmonious spatial structure. And I guess when you see the project, you would see what I mean. That's quite a surprising internal organization or unexpected internal organization that helps a lot to enrich the spaces. Now that you've done your own projects, I have the feeling that you do understand much more how difficult it is to follow a concept and really know where you're heading at and how to do this in a very coherent way in order to reach that or achieve this quality in space throughout. So here we have an opportunity to learn a little bit more. They asked me, do we learn? Yes, you learn a little bit more. And I think it's great because it's kind of a constant seduction of projects that we see here with really beautiful results. So welcome again, and it's all yours.
Thanks for this nice presentation. And thanks for inviting us again. We were here in 2001 during COVID, and it was in other conditions, much more pleasurable today. Well, thanks as well all the teachers from the course for inviting us today, Elisava as well. And as Daniela said, although we are starting with this slide, the presentation, we're going to talk about what we've discovered with time. We didn't plan it, that our practice does 4 different, like it works in 4 different disciplines organically, has become to work in 4 different disciplines, and we're going to try to explain all those 4. Was there that I had? Wasn't? It worked before. Analog. We'll do it this way. Worked before. So hello, hola. So we are AMOO. I'm Aureli, and Omar.
Hi.
And this is a bit what we do. Well, the 4 areas that I was talking about, and Daniela was, are architecture, interior architecture. We like to call it specifically interior architecture and interior design, because I think what we do is not interior design. It's more linked into architecture than design. So we face the same like problems. That also we'll talk about product design and also heritage. And well, so these interlinked 4 disciplines, at least to us, I mean, it's not something that has to be read all over the practices, but at least to us, give us a more holistic approach to every project. All the disciplines get mixed in the project. There are some designs come from interior designs that we have produced at some times, and I don't know, there's a design that that's left there in the rubbish in order to be picked up at some point in the office, and then we keep on doing it. Or I don't know, the process of heritage dissemination helps us a lot to know what's going on in the panorama of architecture, as well about the background of the architecture and interior design panoramas in other epochs. So everything nurtures each other area. Yeah, I don't know if you to say anything about this.
No. Of course, I agree. And well, this is what I really was saying, and I think it's relevant. It's that this study with heritage dissemination give us a cultural background that it's very important, because things do not come from nothing. So you have to be intense in your research, looking for references, trying to have architectural culture. So then when you design, you have it as a background. So even you don't know, you have it. So when you take the pencil and you draw, you will translate this knowledge into your designs, maybe to say no to what you're thinking, or yes, or whatever, but you have it in your brain, and then you can use it. So
so basically what we're saying is that we encourage you to visit architecture, see loads of magazines, and keep on doing it for all your life, because it's like the most important part of knowledge, to live the interiors, to live
yeah, of course. So here we begin. Daniela was explaining before about our experience here. We started as students, maybe younger than you are now. Maybe we had 22 years, I guess, or it was in 2008. So it's wow, yes. So maybe
what you are.
15, 16 years ago, yeah. So we started because of that, because we were very curious about what was happening around us. Because normally when you go, or when we were students at the university in ETSAP, they used it to show us architectures from around the world. But we thought that there were many architectures here that were relevant, and we wanted to discover it by ourselves. So we started to make a list a list of typologies, a list of architecture in cities, blah, blah, blah. So at a point we had 500 references, and we said, well, we can start sharing it with people, so people can use our effort, that it was for free, just for knowledge and sharing, and we reached in these 10 years like 1,500 buildings in there, and we also had I don't know if you read it, but we have architecture, product design, writings, so thinking, and media, and authors and photographers that are a very important piece in architectural dissemination. So they also show us how to look at architecture, not just architects, also photographers of architecture. And you may know that because unlikely you consume architecture through images and not visiting it mainly. What I encourage you is to go and visit architecture, not just seeing it through images, but anyway, they are very, very important.
So we made this website that we put here in small in purpose because it's not visitable anymore. It's closed because we started in 2019 to do like a much bigger website for
in a professional way.
A professional way without our own money, with possibilities for the Col·legi d'Arquitectes, COAC.
The Architectural Association in Catalonia.
This project, and we are the directors since then. And we'd like to, if in case you don't know them, you know the project, we'd like to show it a little bit so you can about it and use it, because I think it's going to be, if you live here or you plan to be like a long stay here, it's going to be interesting for you to use it. And so basically, the website is about works, authors, and photographers, and you can see about 5,000. You can visit about 5,000 works from around 2,000 authors.
La pots posar en anglès. You can put it in English.
So you have the list of this architecture. Search any of your pictures here, and they would appear. You can have the information about the authors and also about the photographers that have photographed this architecture. Of course, you can filter anyhow you want. You can also filter through chronology, and you can. Most interesting part is that you can find everything in the map. Also filtered through these colors and icons, which mean awarded, cataloged, disappeared as well. So I don't know which work shall we?
No, I mean no, but we also shared last week a part of the work that it's the rutas, that it's maybe it's more amable, more kind for you to visit, that it's for people to visit things directly. So we make it internal in an editorial way from us, or we ask to an authors to make these routes. So you can join cualquier ruta. So you have the list, you have the selection that we made it like a streaming platform, so it's easy for you. We made some categories. Here you can filter about typology, way of transport, duration of the visit. You can maybe through the authors, places, etc. So when you join, or you can go to the map, so you can see the routes over the map. And then you can have a very direct sensation of the dimension of that route. No, if you have this one, it's painted just behind the thumbnail. But for example, this one, it's the road trip for the AP7. That it's the highway that connects all the Mediterranean coast. And we invited Maria Ocejo to make this route, and then Aureli, you can join, for example, this one. Yes, it's okay. And then, well, you will find a short explanation by the author, and then when you go down, you will find it in the map, and you can go to Google Maps, and you can enter to the works, so you can have the explanation of the work. And if you go a little bit down with the scroll, Aureli, then you will see at your no, més a dalt. You can see at your left how to go. So if you press how to go, you will have the Google en route. So you can go with the mobile and go behind every building. So now we started with 56, and we want to reach the 200 for the 2026. That it's the Barcelona will be the capital of architecture in the world. So we are working on that. And
all these routes are based on the archive we were talking about before. So if we click on any of these works, it takes you to the archive, where you'll find images, plans, information about the memoirs about the buildings, information about the authors, charging, big, and so on, by bibliography and etc. So, well,
you can see the work and the newer works, documents from the architectural archive that are very valuable anyway. So you have a resource here.
It's something that you should explore as architects, I think, as designers.
And well, by doing that, we started exploring Correa and Milà, that it's a Barcelona studio-based architecture studio based in Barcelona, and we started investigating this the donation of his professional archive, because we noticed that normally you always know about them like 10, 12 projects. So we investigated the 600 files they have or projects, and we discovered and now we have like 65 projects of Correa and Milà inside Arquitectura Catalana, for example. With this work, we proposed the Architectural Association to make an exhibition, and it's called in Perspective, because this was the way they used to make a project. They started drawing a perspective, and then the collaborators on the studio, they turn it into the theatrical drawing. So then they checked with the plans and the section if the perspective was right. What was important about that the architect was in the center. The architect, so the user, were in the center of the project, because it was at the height of the eye, all the drawings. So they were thinking about the experience, not from an abstract thing that is the plan. So they started about the human view.
Yeah, so we made this exhibition based on these drawings that Omar was talking about, and they also had a lot of practice in product design. So that's what we did with the Chariat. How is it?
Curated.
The curation. We were there as curators and space designers. We had to invade, or we tried to invade the three stories of the COAC, of the main public spaces of the Architecture Association, which is the ground floor, the mezzanine, and the Sala Picasso, which is the first floor. And we proposed this huge propaganda towards the city, using these particular colors and materials, which is the mirror and this orange,
intense orange, no?
Intense orange, which were links to their practice. There were guys that they were really like elegant, but they also had this point of
a little bit
tackiness. I don't know, about if I may say it. No, so we proposed this this use double colors. And the display around the central vert of the coag was through this, well, was dual. It was in the mezzanine and the ground floor. We proposed these modules that could
randomly. Then they have three different shapes, so you can combine them and reach different forms. This one here was was lower because it was for exhibiting furniture pieces. So they are at the right height for to view. And then on the mezzanine that Aurelie was talking about, they were higher because we wanted to exhibit planes and drawings. As you can see, all the drawings were the main part of the exhibition, and then we had some elements in vertical that allow you to see through, but also they hide a little bit the space. It's not like you see everything once you join this plan. So you have a bit of discovering the space and making it more interesting. I think
it was kind of tricky because it was the first time. Well, it had been recently refurbished, the building, as you know. So it was the first time that an exhibition, yes, a big exhibition was made. So we kind of had to explain how the COAG had to make exhibitions again. No? This was the tricky part. COAG wasn't as spacey as it is now. No? The refurbishment they did was to clean a lot, to put white everywhere. So what we found was like an empty space that we have to fill.
Yes.
So these modules that were really and randomly, as you can see in the plan, flowing through the mezzanine and the ground floor helped us a lot appropriate the space. And then on the upper floor, it's an enclosed space, so we took more tribute, or gave more tribute to the architects like pray for comfortability and
yes, and a Barcelona that does not exist. It was like a little bit of interior design of the 60s, of the 70s, where with carpet, no, all very very soft, very very comfortable. So we made this space to remind the people about that. Also with this neon lettering that it's taken from El Giardinetto, that it is one of the most remarkable works they have done in interior design. So well, it was a tribute of 50 or more years of work to these architects.
To explain this project, because
we encourage you to visit their work in Arquitectura Catalana.
Yeah, it's really refreshing, though it's from 50 years ago. So yeah, in this case, heritage design, heritage dissemination brought us to design interior spaces. So again, these interconnections. But we've had other connections that between architecture and heritage dissemination. We've worked a lot, as you'll see, for Ferrocarrils de la Generalitat, like the metro here, and they asked us to make like a heritage dissemination on their stations all around their lines. So we made these proposals of a patrimonial P.
Yeah, we studied like the 130 stations, and we decided that we will explain the 30 that were more valuable. So we selected those ones. Well, you have modern stations that are also heritage. This is a thing that people need to know. Not only the old architecture from the beginning of the last century, it's heritage. Modern architecture is also heritage, and we have to explain that to people. So this is one of the objectives also of this work.
That's the process we did. I don't think you did it, but yeah, we proposed this piece that you can see in some stations all around the line. This is linked to architecture, as I said, not with this project specifically. This is a recent project we finished
Yes.
last year. And this is for a private investor, and it's a small building, 12 apartment building. And the funny thing about it is that the pre-existence was this building, a 2-story building in the middle of the Champla. And the promoter, of course, wanted to tear it apart and then build a 5-6-story building, which is what we did as a project. We reached this phase, but then luckily in some way the county council told us to maintain the existing facade, not the building, but the existing facade. So we had this challenge now that the new building had become a remunta, I don't know, like an addition.
An
addition. Well, apparently an addition, because the building is like new building just with maintaining a facade, but it from the street would look as an addition, and especially the complexity about this for the addition about the coronation of this existing building. So our proposal is explained specifically in this facade, in this picture, was to decide properly the colors and the chromatism we had to link to use, and which were the links in between the buildings, and the narrowness in between the new extension and the existing coronation. So this part was essential here.
Yeah, because it's important that you have the perception that it's not two separate buildings. So it goes just with what Aurelio was saying, no? With this distance. If this distance is like this, separate buildings. If you go too close, you may be violent with the building that it's the pre-existing facade. So if you see here, we made the section is here, but we go down here so we can be more close to the existing facade, and we can generate this tension that makes you feel when you go through the street that it's the same building. I mean, with this strategy and then the colors, I think we made it all.
Yeah, well, as well as composition, and by facing the addition in a super abstract way. You can see there's hardly no, there are no ornaments at all. What do you say, the louvers? No, the gutters are completely planos, without louvers or anything. So it would become a completely abstract addition in comparison to the flourished existing building. No? And of course, treating everything with the elegance that
very polite.
Requires. And
yeah, because it's difficult, because in the previous image we had to. Aurelio, can you put the previous image?
Sure.
We had to deal with these three openings in the wall. That one is for the motorbikes, that it's a lift that we were
for the parking.
Yeah.
Car park.
And then the entrance, and then a dwelling. So, trying to be the more respectful we can, and trying to avoid any kind of starring in the building.
Yeah, because here it happened that typical thing from the county council, that they oblige you to keep it, but then they say, but you have to open a car park door.
Yeah,
in the
they
middle of the
wanted us
facade.
to make like a rectangular.
So at some point we said, okay, why are we keeping this facade if we have to make we have to remake it completely, and we have to.
And they say, okay, bicycles and motorbikes. That's it. So then we have the rear facade, and here with the balconies, the light there, with a system of screens, and trying to give some unit, very simple here. We try to be abstract, and here that it this building opens to an interior of Eixample, and then we jumped to a project that we were committed to make. Well, to convert a parking or a garage into gardens and supermarket and 3 floors of parking.
Yeah, so basically nowadays the whole gray area and the white interior, it's a car park, and we were commissioned to do an underground car park for 4 stories, a 5th story of supermarket, and then on the ground floor a public space for the city. And this was what our proposal. At the end, well, we're still fighting in order to get to do it, but I don't know if well, the last it's in Carrer Londres,
near to Velódromo. It's the parking that is close to Velódromo.
Yeah, and well, the last council wasn't like interested in interior.
Well, they were, but they didn't want to fight with the owners of one of the buildings. And maybe the city council, they are more interested in rescuing interior gardens. But well, the strategy here, if you can see, was giving two shapes. The shape in the ground is like a more informal garden with forms and pots and chairs, like the gardens you can find, or the little balconies of this interior Eixample buildings.
We try to put all the elements of the typical garden from the noucentista epoch, or well, from what we thought it was a garden in Barcelona, and we just analyzed them and put them, the parterres, the pots, the fountain.
But I think in a very domestic way. Yeah. With a little disorder that can remind you to a more domestic thing. And then on the top we placed this pergola that it's the negative of a parterre, no? A noucentista parterre, so a more classical garden, and it gives shade to the things that are happening below. So next.
And now we jump to the metro works we've done in relation to the heritage dissemination thing, work we've shown before. These were some offices that we did in Monistrol de Montserrat. It's like the cremallera.
Well, the train that jumps from here to Montserrat to the Abadia, to the Abbey. And
we
well,
didn't do the.
Here it was just a concrete wall, and we had some space down here, so the project was trying to convert this nothing. It was a concrete wall. It was nothing, to turn it into a facade. So we decided to give this order down and up, so we can understand maybe that it turned from a wall to a building that has a cover over.
We didn't do the cover. The cover was already there.
Yeah, exactly. The cover was there, so we wanted to make people think that it was a project that was all together. So when you pass, you can see the metro goes on top, and you have a building down. So I think this is the most interesting thing of the project, trying to integrate what it was before and giving a new facade.
Yeah, you're going to see also a difference in between our approach in interior architecture, in some interior architecture, and in architecture per se. Maybe this is just because the clients we've had. In architecture, we've had clients such as Metro, Ferrocarrils in this case, and private contractors, promoters, such as La Llave de Oro and so on. So we are not supposed to make big, crazy things, and we're okay with that. I mean, public space has to have another approach. So that's how we've done it. So it's more abstract, more precise, more precise. It's
we are always precise.
Yeah. This is another work for Ferrocarrils. It's in Rubí. We were supposed to close 170 meter long railway in order to make a museum kind of way, somewhere to show in order to show the old trains.
The old trains.
And also it had to be a new facade for the center, which is like one of the main centers for the metro area, in order to maintain trains, warehouse of trains, the operational, etc. And we've been doing works in that space, so we're gonna go fast.
Yeah, vamos a
doing these works. This is the museum we're talking about. The interior is of course an industrial building, and here's a video of the whole works.
No pot. No sir.
I don't know, but now
okay.
Is it too heavy? But
don't worry, it's not that important. Aquí notas. View.
The third full screen mode. I don't see it.
Aquí.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Vale. Bueno, sí. Pasemos una mica ràpid.
Don't worry. This after this first work, we also made this pergola. I mean, this is more domestic. We had, even though there's a bit more, I don't know, cha-cha-cha in here because it's moving. It's completely, its disposition is completely logical. It follows like all the guidelines that the building was doing and the existing things we're doing. You will see a lot of broken lines in our plans, in our work. You might think that they can be, I don't know, frivolous or random, but lots of times they are really, they're drawn like organically because they are needed. They're really rational. But the result, it looks like random, like this pergola here, no? Like the display in between the structure, the superstructure, and the secondary structure of the slab that makes that it becomes the pergola. This desencaje works like pretty intensely. This is another work we did here in the same center. It's an extension of the old existing warehouse, which is this. The warehouse was the light gray area, and we just extended this central part. I don't know if you want to add anything else, but and we'll jump to interior architecture, something that I think in your course are working a bit more. Of course, we've made also interior architecture for Ferrocarrils. This was an interesting project because it was an old station in Sabadell, which because of the extension towards another line of the metro, it became obsolete. So they had to find a use for it, and they decided to use it as a.
It's like an interior design exercise. So you have to turn an old and abandoned station into a class. No, it was like a class for teaching practical stuff to the
it was
to the workers.
Some space to make the las pruebas
testing things, yes.
Testing
so if you change the image, we will see it better.
Working with the fire department, and they also rented it for films, for horror films. Yeah.
Sí? Sabíem.
Rec 4.
So here it was the station. So what we did is we put something in the middle of the station and we turned it into a class. So you see these two volumes, and then we decided to make this cover. So you take class in the middle of the station. So now it is what it is. Pasa? You can see it here. This exercise.
Yeah.
It was particular.
So it's this funny thing about doing like interior in the middle of an existing station, no? Underground station. And we also treated the tunnels and with less budget, of course, than
we are starting to see colors. So we are going to the interior part. Pasa? Okay. This is a cinema. We made all the whole refurbishment. So well, it was intense because it was a cinema made at the beginning of the 2000s, and well, it's still working because it's not temporal. It works and it's contemporary right now. We made it in 2016, no?
We started 2016, no? And
yeah.
And since then until today, we're still working there, and every year, like they're.
We're refurbishing a theater, or we will show some theaters.
Yeah, I think every slide will be one phase. So you're not gonna follow the whole project of each phase, but this was the first phase, which was in order to make the new bar, the new counters.
And we mix it where people where you can buy your ticket, where you can buy your popcorn at the same point. I don't know. We decided to demolish all the false ceilings. So what you can see here, it's the back from the gradas, from the gradas. Sí, como gradas de. Well, I don't know. The cinema theater, it's over here. So
it was a process of cleaning and as well of creating a new image for the cinemas with attic and imaginary, I don't know.
Yeah. Sci-fi.
And we started making like refurbishment of the
theaters, yes,
once every year. So this was the first one. Well, now that I see it with distance, it's like it was more intentional. You can tell it's the first one. The second one was interesting because it had this side screens, so you can see films in 270 degrees, and well, it's a kind of an attraction. So they are trying to turn the business into a new thing for blockbuster films and all that stuff. And we are trying to give them some design. And as we had a commission every year for one little thing, it kind of became like a test. In every commission, we tested something, and the clients encouraged us to do it. So it's been fun to try. It's a bit trial and error. Here it became more minimalistic, everything in black and grays. Then we did a green cinema, and the alarms went on.
The first and the last.
Yeah, because the green is not a good.
Well, it was good, but they prefer always black. You know, black it's a sure color. But well, we were happy with that.
And then we started making these 4DX technology cinemas. Which
where you can here you can see, for example, the use of color. It's starting to be more intentional in a sense that we are using the red carpet in the parts where you join the room, that it's this one, and then as the rest of the theater needs to be black because of the reflection of the film, it ends here and then everything is black, no? So color seems random, but it's because it has some use. We want to give you this sensation at the entrance with the geometry. It's a very high entrance, and then you go into the theater.
And also these geometries, they're not randomly decided. They also guide you from the entrance towards the
well,
theater.
And it's a kind of tribute to Correa y Milà and Carlos Carpa.
Yeah.
And here, behind here, you have the glasses to see 3D films. It's like the.
This was a refurbishment, a small area. They needed some benches, and
here we designed the benches too. So as long as we are approaching to interior design, we're approaching also to product design. No, here it's another theater with that it looks like the other one because it follows the same language, but as the room is a little bit different, we change a little bit the form of the theater.
Every theater is different in shape, in characteristics, so each of these nuances of the existing thing look really precisely, like gave us an idea or a new idea to make a different approach on each of the theaters. Well, this is like now we'll talk about also about interiors for restaurants and bars. This was the first one we did. It's here in Barcelona too. It's Chanquimeli.
Yeah, it was for Catalan cuisine. So we decided to take the the typical elements from from Catalan construction. So as rasilla, marble bars, all that stuff, and give it a new view. Yes. So bring it in a different way with different forms, but trying to be functional and useful.
Yeah, and as well, all these shapes that you see, all these pillars that are each of them are different because they needed a kind of complexity. It's all because of the shape of the existing space. What we find is a tubular, like the typical tubular space in Barcelona for a venue. So we needed a bit more of attraction towards the inner spaces, and in order to create more like subspaces than the one.
And we decided to address the things that we don't like, or we don't want people to notice that there are these pilasters, the structure trying to give different intention. This is another one. This is El Villa, also the same problem. Here was for a vermuteria. So as you see, everything seems to be dancing, but here you have like an order. Everything matches with this module where things change are at a point. So maybe it seems that it's random, but it goes, for example, from the order of the tile. So the tile tells us the length of this bar. So you can see it goes farther than the end of the wall, and we turn it into a shelf. You know, what I try to explain is that you may see what I already said, a lot of movement, but it has a grid behind, so it can help us.
The use of materials in this specific bar was because of the clients wanting a vermuteria from the sea, because their product was mainly salazones, which is dried fishes and cured fishes or seafood. So we kind of wanted to use this, well, because of course the clients first wanted the typical
wine
barrels from from the imagery they have from these kind of vermuterias, vermouth places, and we wanted to change it a little bit. So we went to the essence of the materials. We said, okay, which are the materials that link this imagery of sea, of the boats, and we rescued the cork, we rescued the blue and white of the typical tiles from Andalusia, the shapes of the boats, like these circles, these
a very easy floor to clean,
yeah.
also, and well, trying to get the cork to the other level, that it's using it as part of the design, but it also to absorb all the people talking and shouting. You know, it's a very drinking vermouth and talking with your friends. It's very noisy, so we use this material that helps to reduce the noise to make the decoration of the bar, because here it worked.
Well, we did another bar called Folks. It was a burger place in
After El Villan, you can see some some things that can remind you from the other bar, but it was very close to in time. So, but what we tried to give here was, well, with the microwave material, and trying to use microwave to make lamps that are really showed, playing more with color on the floor, keeping the cork here but just painting it, because we didn't need that expression of the material here. We just needed the function of absorbing noise. And well, in many bars you can see that we try to avoid showing a space to see from the beginning of the space the end of the space, no? And then we try to get things from that space. Maybe here is the arc that was in the wall, and trying to turn it to make a separate space behind. So for us, it's an advice to don't give always the whole of the space to the visitor. Try to avoid something. I don't know.
Also, in these three restaurants, bars you've seen, you might have appreciated that all the design was made like
bespoke.
Bespoke, and so first case, all these were designed by us and made for this bar. All the stools here too, and in here not only the shape of these tables that had to be joined or had to be separate. That's why we made a circle and then the guy wanted round tables, but they wanted to join them, so had to make this, and all the stools too. But also the lights in here, we wanted to use this material that we had used it before in architecture that you've seen before.
In the industrial architecture, and well, here it seems very delicate. It seems like postmodern.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a molding.
Yeah, we were lucky here that this bar was made by the owner himself, with his hands, which was pretty amazing. And he even did the lamps, which were pretty accurate.
Las podríamos recuperar.
Yeah. Here are the detail of these tables I was talking about. And the plan of the bar was it approaches the same thing. No, it's a tubular bar, a space. So you have to appropriate it, and through these shapes, through these river-like meandros, you make the space, because at the beginning the space has no personality, it's just a tube. And then, well, go to the shop part. That's for the same brand. We've made 3 shops. This was the first one we did, our first commission.
Second work or first commission, yes.
But we put the images just here in order to put in context the shops. Then we made a second shop for them, pretty close. And in there, with this proposal, with this blue and white duality,
the brand, yes.
It become their brand, and we started doing it the other shops like this, with pieces of furniture independent from the container, no?
Yeah, from the container, yes, because in the first shop you've seen, we went against the wall. It was very, very small, so we tried to to be the furniture to be born from the wall and became shelves, cupboards, whatever. And in the other one, we had more space, so we decided, well, what if we do we work in the other way, no? By making like a big piece here and then other pieces, and trying to be more the form of these pieces, the ones that organize the space.
As well, in the first as it's your first work, you're very naive. You try to be like really deciding everything, solving every corner. And then after years, we decided that if they wanted to have cheap shops and
yes, because you can produce that on the workshop, and so you don't need to ask to the carpenter to come there to the millimeter or centimeter to bring a perfect produced furniture. So with this strategy, it's more
it's faster.
It's faster, yeah. Well, and
not so priceless,
and it gives a great effect. Anyway, so and this is the last one we finished now.
It's a small shop.
It's a small shop, yes, with well, more or less same strategy. We decided to follow the guidelines of the two party walls, that they are not aligned. So we had this one, and then we disalign each piece at some height to give well, some not personality, but it was, we needed that, because if you go just with one direction, you go too close to the pillar. If you go with the other direction, you go too close to the other part of the shop. So it helped us to organize it.
Yeah, but this decision came from these two pillars. There were these two columns here. There were two steel columns, existing ones, and we had to cover them with for fire protection. Yes. So the columns were amazing. You can tell that they were the fossa like fossa in English. Iron casted, and they were amazing. But we had to cover them, and so we invented these columns unaligned, aligned, and following these two directions that Omar was saying. And this is a shop that it maintained the separate elements.
Yeah, they liked the prices more than in the first one.
Pretty simple, really inexpensive, really. And then we go to the housing and interior designs. And we'll talk about the two or three, I don't remember, refurbishments that we recently made.
Yeah, here in the first one we had like a half of a flat in a Champla. That it's very typical. The people have well, quite big flats, 150 or 60 square meter, 200 square meter. So they decide to separate it so they can sell the flats for more money than just selling one, you know. So this is a very common strategy. So then what you have, it's a flat that you join the flat from the corner, which is quite difficult because you have to distribute along a corridor. So how to turn this corridor into an interesting thing, no? As a strategy, how can you do that? And trying to bring light to the end of to the entrance, that it's very, very far from the facade, through this patio, through some strategies with windows, opening the bathrooms and everything to be more, to bring more light. And here you have a little bit of the answer that it's, well, I know it's not a very conventional solution, but here is the room. In the middle you have the bathroom, and on the other side you have the kitchen, and then the facade, no? That is this connection, so from the room you can see directly the light from there. So all this game of visual connection, opening to lights, and all that stuff helped a lot. Of the flat.
Okay, well, in these housing interiors, we tend to take advantage of a strategy that it's not thanks to us. That it's that these houses are normally thought by other family units, like I don't know, a family composed by 2 parents and 2 sons or 3 sons. So they have a lot of compartmentation, and new people who's approaching this to live in these flats are people with another kind of familiar unit. In this case, it was a single guy who was on his own. So you can tell that you have a lot to play whenever you can reduce or change.
As long as you can have you can demolish this piece, so you can change the kitchen, and the kitchen is every part of this. So this is all open. So the corridor is just this space here, and not all this long. Well, it gives you what you see in the images.
So yeah, this space is the kitchen, which was open towards the corridor. Now it doesn't become a corridor anymore. It's linked as well towards the living room, and this green stripe that we decided to do and to become a strategical thing in the refurbishment. It breaks, as you can see in here or in here when reaching the living room, because of the disalignment of the existing party walls. That's it. And this makes these broken lines here that there's.
Well, they seem random, but what was random was the original party walls.
And the nice thing is that this green stripe crosses every the rooms, the bathroom, the kitchen, and when through its path, it changes the color, it changes the materials. It's a really strong decision, but
it worked.
It worked, and the client more than accepted it and made it his own. Now you can see here the view from the bedroom at the end of the interior towards the
facade,
the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not fluent enough with English, but
is another? Yeah, it's another case. This is a square one, a very tiny one. Very tiny. Now it's 49. So nowadays maybe it's okay. So 49, and what it has, if you put the plan. I can start. We can start from here. So we found that the structure was this structural wall, and then the installation patio. So what we decide is, okay, we demolish everything, and we will grow around this patio. So first of all, we tried a decision that was a circular shape.
More conceptual.
More conceptual, yes. And then we decided with the client that circular walls are not very useful to hang things, to put shelves, etc., unless you make it bespoke. So, and he also gave us the needing of having a working space. It was after pandemic, so we had to introduce here and to take profit of the hall of the entrance to give him this space. So we started to distortion this first shape, and it ended being this one now. But you can see that all around this patio you have everything. So you have all the bedroom with the dressing room. Here you have
the bathroom.
The bathroom with the shower. That the shower, as you don't have natural light here, has a window here to bring natural light here. And it's also a kind of erotic thing, because maybe you are having a shower, maybe your partner is here cooking, but then you have la boira, ¿cómo se dice? With the
mist. The mist. El vaho.
El vaho. Yeah, well, with
fog from the shower.
With the fog from the shower for the difference of temperature, then this is not transparent. It's just suggesting someone is behind, blah blah. No. So and here you have the drawing of the axonometric, and here you have like a conventional distribution. So this volume gives all this movement all around with the sliding door, reflections, materials, etc. We decided to, normally you put the strong color on the floor. It can be wood or whatever, and then the house is white. So here, as it's in an interior Champla building, and it gives face, the facade goes
to east.
Yeah, to north. So we twisted the colors, so the warm color is on the ceiling and the white color is on the floor, so we can have more reflection on the floor, and then the sharpness comes from the ceiling.
Because there's always this predetermined idea that ceilings have to be white, because in order to have more reflection of light, and floors can be
whatever,
like wood and dark colors, which and in most cases is the opposite. Lights reflects towards the floor. So we tried
first to the floor and then to the ceiling.
Yeah. So here we tried, and the client was happy about it because he really liked color. That's why he approached it to us, and it worked. And we put this kind of linoleum-like floor, which works pretty good. Yeah.
Well, and you can see how this central piece turned from this sliding door to the studio, and then it turns around, and well, here it becomes a part of the living room, and then part of the kitchen, and it's all like a continuous thing.
Always, for us, really important to understand that there are no pieces of furniture, like per se. Like the architecture of itself becomes the furniture. So in here, the bathroom becomes the door and the studio, and then the kitchen, then a window towards the kitchen, so on.
Yeah, and here you see the little window there. And well, we had to make a furniture to
for the CDs.
And to keep the more than 1,000 vinyls and CDs collection from the owner. And well, that's it. ¿No tenemos algo más aquí?
No.
And here is the last one that we can start also with the plans to explain. So here it was. Well, when we made the drawing of this flat, we noticed that it was very rational, because we had this part with the facade, the party wall, and the facade. So if you demolish the walls, that is what you will see in this drawing, you can find a very rational construction system from the architect who thought this building. So first, they had towards the street the pieces of the rooms, and towards the interior patio the pieces of the living and the kitchen and all that stuff. So they wanted to switch, and it was very easy because the dimension
they were practically the same.
So that's the first thing we did. Then once we had that, we decided to open, with some structural intervention, this door here, have this connection on both sides, and to create a central, not atrium, but a central space that have to serve the other spaces.
It was a pretty complex space because it had 11 openings in between doors and windows.
You have the lift here, the entrance door, a window, 2 doors, the bathroom, 2 more windows. So it was, how do we give a unitary facade, interior facade to this space, in order to convert this in the space when you go out the room, the studio. So integrate this to every area.
And then when we had this conceptual hierarchy in between the use-based and
like this central space.
This central space, we introduced this last drawing. We introduced like a movement towards the spaces in order to identify the kitchen and to create the studio.
Yeah, because we wanted to mix the spaces. So this is not just the kitchen and just this space. It's you have here, you can see it. So when you join the space, this is a door. You can see a little bit of the kitchen. You can see this space. You can see the living room, and we try to give order through this cornice, to give a height to the space, and then these vertical lines that sometimes are shelves, are cupboards, are just supports, but to give an order to a space that later we will break and will also bring happiness or whatever with the colors, with these tiles that had the granite chips that later we will use in the desks or in the tables. So you can see we change materials. Then when we arrived to the living, we changed to more classic materials that the client wanted, but maybe in a quite different way. And then
we go to
product design. That we are we're okay. We are out of time. And then we have to leave.
Okay, we're finishing.
No, so well, as I really we can pass it very, very fast.
Yeah, sure.
As we explained it at the beginning, from the other projects, some designs are in the notebook, so we develop it from a very naive way that we are not product designers, so these are forms, shapes that became tables with marble. And well, this is Juanola, it's our first produced design.
We designed it first for a bar, that at the end we didn't put these tables because the client thought we were mad because we were doing marble tables. And so we kept it there in the studio as the idea, and we started producing them, and we've sold a lot.
Yeah, we've sold a lot, yes. And this is Ricola, that it's the member of the family, kids friendly, because some people told us that the other angles of the Juanola maybe were dangerous for the kids. So trying to play with the name of Juanola, that it's an old candy for the throat. We went to Ricola, that it's another candy for the throat, but with rounded shapes to be more kid friendly. And then we are also trying to give a different lecture or reading to the thing of reusing things or recycling, no? And we make a little joke about recycling luxury. So we recycle marble also, because marble needs to be recycled too. There are pieces that are not used. That is what we do here, or we do with this palette, no? That it's like the image of when someone wants to do like a space. No, we will use palettes because it's recycling and it's very eco-friendly and all that stuff. So we wanted to make a statement that why this geometry needs also to be with that wood but finish and all that stuff. So we can also use pieces of marble that are not being used, that are in the trash. So giving a second and ironical lecture, well, product design give us this flexibility.
Yeah.
And in the previous design, you've seen the moldings. So the moldings, you also have rest of moldings. So with rest of moldings, you can make a lot of forms. So here we have like 7 kinds of moldings, and by addition of commercial moldings, we have this shape for the table, but always under the same idea. And this is the trident, no? Following with it's a chewing gum, classic from the 90s, and well, there we wanted to make a table with a light below for narrow living rooms, and in mixing the two uses, or the playbook that is the next one, that here we try to make like a grid. So with that grid you can decide which dimension do you want, and then you can decide which legs to support this table do you want, and which tapes do you want. So it's the name is a mix between the playbook and play. So, and here are the Posmos that are trying to get postmodern buildings from the 70s or the 80s. And so people always said postmodern architecture is very formal and it's like an object itself. So our decision was to bring this object itself to the most prototypical object, that it's ¿cómo se dice un florero?
A base. Yeah.
A base.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go from object to building, and then we were going back from building to object.
And these are all, well, Teatrino by Aldo Rossi. These pillars are from James Stirling's, the Philip Johnson AT&T, Torre Velasca, well, many.
And we do all this with PLA, with 3D printing. And that's where I think we started using 3D printing, and since then it's something that has interested a lot to us towards designing, and as well we've brought a last design that we're doing,
yes,
which is a lamp. We'll show you now. But before joining the heritage dissemination part and the product design that we have, we created recently this web shop design with 4 S's. It's a shop that it just doesn't sell our work, but also from other architects and non-designers, specifically non-designers that are in our situation. They have designs that
intenta carregar l'arxiu.
Com?
No, posa Catalan Design, per exemple. No, allà. Aviam, clica.
Well, the images doesn't...
Well,
you can take a look afterwards. It's basically a website that sells product designs from other architects and non-designers that are like us, having
professional product designers.
Professional product designs that are created for works and don't have a selling platform. So we kind of give them the platform in order to sell them. And yeah.
Searching, so.
But
no.
But
we are the platform, so directly from the producer and the designer, and we make all the stuff in between.
But if we could show you, there's also an interesting part of the website that there's an archive on
Catalan design,
on Catalan product design, where there are more than
500 or something
designs, and you can see them chronologically, which is really nice to go across Catalan design in a chronological way. It's really interesting. And if you want to come, we finish, and we have here the lamp we're doing. If you want to show it, if you want to see it.